Mitigation ends up being the giant problem that we have right now in Black Forest. 2/3 of Black Forest didn't burn. But even at the most conservative levels, if somebody was trying to be able to get their properties to match the number of trees per acre that were in Cathedral Pines or High Forest Ranch, you're still talking about 2 of every 3 trees have to be cut down in Black Forest. If you're talking about Forest Service kind of levels, you're talking about 4 of every 5 trees have to be cut. 1 of every 5 gets left. That's nuts. The thing that people have got to realize is that cutting trees is essentially a replacement for cutting your grass in Black Forest. And if you aren't going to get out with a chainsaw and be able to do that, then, the property as it recovers and grows is essentially going to go back to exactly the way it was before, where you got too many trees and you're just waiting for the next forest fire to happen. There's essentially 15,000 acres of burned area in Black Forest. And from the fingers that are in the hills behind you, you can see that there's about 8,000 acres that were turned black in the midst of the fire. And so we end up with a giant job that's got to be done by somebody who has the ability of being able to deal with it in a workman-like sort of way. The machines actually have the ability of being able to deal with acres of territory per day versus a hand crew where it takes about 170 acres to be able to get an acre of property cleared with hand crews and a chainsaw. And so the difference is monumental. It's about 100 times faster to be able to do it with a machine than anything else. And so a machine is the only way to do this. We've been able to do this at prices that are about 20% of what the historical norm was to clear an acre. And so we're, in the $1,700, $1,800 if you got grass seed on it kind of prices. And that's infinitely tiny compared to the prices that have been before. Anybody who approaches trying to be able to clear a piece of property without considering whether they've protected that piece of property from fire in the future or not hasn't really done the job that's got to be done here. And so what we're trying to make sure of is that no piece of property that we work on is a fire transference pathway. There's some other techniques that include chipping and mastication that leave so much wood product on the ground that it just ends up being the gateway for the next fire. And it is essentially self-starting when we get to the same kind of conditions that we had that the fire started in last year.